What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/am I the arsehole adventure. Checking out a couple of interesting stories, of some juicy drama. Sharing my opinions on them. And trying to identify the biggest arseholes in each of them. This is episode 14 in the Am I the Arsehole series. And I'm ready for a heavy dose of frustration. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first post is by user Majestic Cobbler 2322, and it is titled, Am I the Arsehole for getting my coworker fired for too much belly blasting? Gosh, that sounds ominous. Why don't we find out what it's all about?
Me, 35 male, and my coworker, 27 male, are both line cooks at a chain restaurant in my hometown. As a way to get me to calm down behind the line, my coworker started sneaking up behind me and grabbing my love handles and squeezing them, while screaming, "Belly blast." It was funny at first, and I shrugged it off. But he's been escalating his attacks for the past year. So for a while now, belly blasts happen in the walk-in, where he'll pin me against the wall, and won't stop until I'm in tears. I tried a few times to belly blast him back, but each time, he physically overpowers me and then blasts me harder. One time he didn't stop until I was on the floor, and he lifted my shirt and blew raspberries on my belly. He's been dating the same girl since he was in high school. One time she came in to say hi to him. I asked her if she gets belly blasted, too. She had no idea what I was talking about, and my coworker called me an idiot, and that belly blasting wasn't a thing. As we were closing up, he had jumped me and tickled me everywhere. It had gotten to the point where I can't relax or even focus on my work. My boss noticed, and I told him I just needed a change of pace, and switched our schedules around, so I only have to work with him twice a week. But now he's even more aggressive. He says he needs to get in twice as many blasts to keep me in shape. I finally broke down, and told my boss I just couldn't work with him anymore, because of the belly blasts. When he had me explain, the next day my coworker was fired. He called me and demanded to know why I got him fired. Especially because I seemed to really like the belly blasts, and I never once said no or stop. I feel like he should know that he crossed a line, but now I'm doubting myself. I do feel like we had something special, and I occasionally miss the aggressive tummy tussling, but he definitely took it too far. Am I the asshole for not asking him to stop blasting my belly before going to the manager?
Okay, what the frick? He was doing what now? Squeezing his love handles while yelling belly blast. What on earth is that all about? Do people do that? 'Cause it just sounds extremely awkward and uncomfortable to me. Not to mention, not very funny. Like, maybe it would be funny once, twice at a stretch, but over and over again. Yikes. I'd probably have run away from the restaurant screaming, and never come back. As weird and goofy as this guy's actions were, however, it's important not to lose sight of just how inappropriate and straight-up abusive such behavior really is. I mean, he physically overpowers OP, makes him cry, and on one occasion, gets him on the floor, and blows raspberries on his belly. Who in the actual frick would even think to do something like that? It's assault, it's sadistic, it's humiliating, and it's just about the last thing that anyone should even be contemplating when they're supposed to be on the job. I know the question is over whether OP should have raised his concerns to the coworker first. And I suppose there's an argument for that. But really, you shouldn't have to be told not to do shit like this. He probably would have just belly blasted OP if he had tried to talk to him about it. And if he'd been at all concerned with OP's feelings, he would surely have noticed how uncomfortable he was making him. So this complaint that OP should have gone to him first seems like little more than an attempt to justify his own bad behavior after the fact. I don't want to speculate too much on this guy's motives, given that I don't know him, but I find it pretty hard to believe that there isn't some sexual dimension to what he's doing. Like, I don't know about anybody else, But me and my male friends don't generally grope, fondle, wrestle, or blow on one another. It doesn't strike me as traditionally platonic male-on-male activity, especially considering how persistently, almost obsessively, he seems to be doing it. I'm not trying to shame anyone for their sexual orientation or their kinks or whatever. I'm cool with everybody, but if he is getting some higher satisfaction out of doing this to OP, it takes on an even more sinister character, because then he's getting off on non-consensual activity. And that's just not okay. Although really, it's pretty damn bad either way. So in light of all that, I really don't see that OP did anything wrong by going to the manager. And if the coworker is upset about being fired, maybe he should reflect on his own dumb-ass behavior. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The coworker is the asshole, and OP is in the right. What a strange post. Anyway, moving on. The next post is by user particular intern 667. And it is titled, "Am I the Asshole for telling my boyfriend what happened on a bachelorette trip?" This ought to be good. Let's give it a read.
I, 24 female, have been with my fiancé Jake, 25 male, for 6 years. Jake's best friend Mark, 25 male, is engaged to Jessica, 24 female. We're all really good friends and hang out often. Jessica's bachelorette weekend was a couple weeks ago. We all went on a girls' trip and things got wild. There was a stripper, some girls took party pills, girls were getting blackout drunk, and there was an inappropriate scavenger hunt the bride participated in. Things that would be considered cheating. Kiss a stranger, have a stranger put money in your top, body shots, etc. When I got home, Jake could tell something was wrong and asked about it. I told him I would never be going on a trip with them again, and told him everything that happened. Jake told Mark, and Mark broke off the engagement. Their wedding was in a couple of weeks. Jessica knows I'm the reason Jake knew what happened, and called me freaking out, and saying how it was her last night being single, and I shouldn't be judging her. She said I should have talked to her about it. We got into an argument, and she called me a bitch. I do feel bad the wedding has called off. I'm also getting messages from Jessica's family, saying I overstepped. So, am I the asshole? Edit. I am now getting messages from multiple bridesmaids. Mark has let all their boyfriends know about what happened. The girls are all now texting me, saying I'm an awful friend, because all their boyfriends are demanding to see the pictures taken that weekend. Edit 2. Mark is currently sleeping in our guest room for a few days. He doesn't want to be in the same house as Jessica, while they figure out who's going to move out.
Oh boy, what a mess. I'll never understand the mindset of these people, whether they be men or women, who go to their bachelor or bachelorette parties, as if they're being hauled off to the guillotine the next day. Like, you do realize that you don't have to get married, right? Nobody is forcing you, it's a decision that you've made. And it's supposed to be a joyous event. If you feel so depressed by the prospect of your days of youthful exploration coming to an end, that you have to go off on a wild weekend, where you violate all of the expectations of the partnership you're about to enter into, to take your mind off what you're losing, then here's a thought. Maybe you aren't ready to be getting married at all. There's no shame in putting things off for a few more years, or deciding not to get married at all, so long as you're being true to yourself, and more importantly, true to your partner. I'm never one to begrudge someone a little harmless debauchery, and I don't see any issue with wanting to do all of the things described in the post, if that's what makes you happy. But I do see a problem with entering into a monogamous relationship with someone, where you promise not to do anything like that, even go so far as to get engaged to be married, then go behind their back and do all of that stuff anyway, and keep it secret from them. It's a violation of their trust. It's an insult to the relationship. And frankly, it makes me glad that the wedding didn't go ahead after all. because it doesn't exactly fill one with confidence about the long-term prospects of the marriage. The saddest part of this whole sordid affair is how OP has been vilified by just about everyone, simply for telling her own fiancé what went down over the weekend, where everyone else expected to have their own indiscretions hid behind a wall of silence. Like, Jessica and the other friends can whine about girl code or whatever else all they like, but OP is not the reason their boyfriends and fiancés are getting upset about it. If they were really okay with that level of openness in their relationship, they wouldn't care one way or another. It is precisely because they did something wrong that OP's simple act of telling the truth is causing them so much trouble. And if they really want to identify the cause of the current predicament, they need only look in the mirror. So basically, Jessica's enabling family, and the bridesmaids, are the assholes, and everyone else is in the clear. You don't get to have your wedding cake and eat it too, haha. Anyway, onto the last post. The last post I'm going to check out is by user MadLadybug8, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for kicking my mom and her pet pig out of my wedding?"
My mom has a huge potbelly pig as a pet. She rescued him from a farm. He's 7 years old, I believe. Back when I was planning my wedding, my mom kept on trying to add things to my wedding, specifically for the pig. For example, she wanted him to have his own buffet. I turned all her ideas down, and told her pig will not be attending my wedding. Even after I told her I didn't want him at my wedding, she continued to try to get me to plan my wedding around him. She told me that she needs him to be there, because it's her support animal. He isn't a registered support animal, even though he does bring her a big deal of comfort. In my husband's culture, pigs are seen as dirty animals, and it would absolutely be unfitting for me to have a pig at our wedding, especially because it would be disrespectful to his family. Well, my mom decides to bring her pet pig to my wedding anyway, even after I told her not to, and she showed up late. I could tell my husband was highly upset with it, but stopped me when I went to confront, because he didn't want his new mother-in-law to hate him. My sister-in-law ended up getting scared, because the pig rubbed up against her, which caused the pig to get scared, and ran off, and bump into some expensive glass decorations, which ended up falling and breaking into pieces. I was beyond angry at my mom. This would have never happened if she didn't bring her pig to my wedding. So I yelled at her to leave. She tried to blame it on me, for not making my wedding pet-friendly. Like, why would I change up my wedding for a pig guest that wasn't even supposed to attend? My mom sent me a long message telling me how I humiliated her in front of my in-laws, and that now she's embarrassed to show her face around them, and that if I would have just set up the wedding the way she suggested to me, none of this would have happened. Am I the asshole?
Oh wow, a pig, that's new. I have to admit, I got a fair few chuckles out of imagining this scene playing out in my head, with the pig running around all over the place, knocking shit over, and frightening the guests. It's like something out of a Mr. Bean skit or something, haha. Only apparently it actually happened. Wild. As far as the dispute here goes, it's hard for me to have much sympathy for the mother, because I have no idea what she was expecting to happen when she repeatedly ignored what she was being told about the wedding, brought the pig along, despite being explicitly told not to, and caused a big embarrassing scene for all involved. At the end of the day, it was OP's wedding, not her mom's, and OP could not have been any clearer that the pig was not invited. For her to play the victim after the fact, and try to lay a guilt trip on OP for not doing more to accommodate her pet, is pretty damn audacious, and if I were OP, I'm pretty sure I would be well tired of her antics by now. If I try to see things from the mother's perspective, I'll admit that I don't know much about support animals, and that it's possible that she relies on the pig to maintain her emotional stability in stressful situations. But as harsh as this might sound, it's still not all about her. And if she really can't handle being away from the pig, she shouldn't have attended, because OP definitively stipulated no pig. And if her mother had been unable to attend for that reason, then it would have been up to her make peace with the situation. For the mother to prioritize her own desires over her child's expressed wishes, disrespect the husband's family, and make a mess of the whole wedding ceremony, is not cool at all. And as far as I'm concerned, she owes OP and the husband an apology. And not the other way around. Mother, asshole. OP not the asshole. That's my final verdict. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed reading through these posts with me, and that you found something to appreciate in my commentary. What do you think? Is it okay to repeatedly belly blast your coworker and blow raspberries on them without their permission? Is going off on a bachelorette weekend and doing a bunch of stuff that one's fiancé wouldn't be okay with good preparation for an upcoming wedding? Would you be happy to have a pig running around at your wedding? Who was the biggest asshole across the 3 posts? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oral belly blast you, hold you down, and have my pet pig blow raspberries on your tummy. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.